All right, folks, welcome. Here we are to the Street Fighter campaign. This is our special event. As you know, Misfit Table does... Typically, we do a D&D campaign that we do once a week on Tuesday nights, which Rob runs. Today, but, you know, we try once a month or so to do special events. Often in systems that are not D&D, to get a chance to explore, have a little fun, try out some other things. So today, our episode is Street Fighter. I'll give the sort of rundown again for anybody who might have missed it. For those of you who haven't heard all the talking about it we've done recently, Street Fighter was made by White Wolf, of all people, back in 1994. It was only about the third or something-ish game that they released. And it is a gem. I mean, I love everything that White Wolf ever made. I was a huge vampire kid. That's what I spent my time doing. And when we weren't playing vampire, we segued into other White Wolf games. I always wanted to do werewolf because that sounded cool to me, but I was not the one running those games, and that was outvoted. We never did werewolf, but we did a huge mage campaign, and we did quite a bit of changeling. We did some hunter, we did some mortals, we did a lot of exalted, and Street Fighter was in the mix. And unlike the other White Wolf games, Street Fighter is in a totally different world. All the other White Wolf games are in the world of darkness, which is a world like our own, but grimmer, grittier, more corruption, more doomed, more environmental damage. And Street Fighter breaks that mold. It's not in the same shared universe. It's not in the world of darkness. It's kind of similar in that it's our world, but in this case, it's our world, but flashier, more colorful, more fights in the streets, more martial arts. It's a world where everybody agrees that martial arts are the capstone of existence. Like, the best thing you can aspire to is to be a skilled martial artist. Being the best is reason itself. And there's constantly tournaments all around the world for this. In this world, a few things you should know. They're the World Warriors, who are the pinnacle in each of their styles. There's the secret organization of Shadowlu, led by the criminal mastermind M. Bison, who is also one of the most deadly and feared warriors in the world. But, like, this is the tone of the world, right? It would be beneath him to draw a gun on you. M. Bison is never going to pull out an SMG and unload. That's not the tone of the world. He has spent his life honing his physical and mental skills to be a spectacular martial artist. It would be beneath him to shoot you. And that's just the way this world is. Anyway, we've got 3 players here today, including Rob, who's typically our DM. And let's take a little... I'm going to pause on talking about the game and let these guys talk about their characters, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Who wants to go first?
Excuse me. Hi, my name is Brandon Jenkins, and I will be playing Rosham Bo, or simply just Bo. He is a man in his early to mid-30s, and has, over the last 10 to 12 years of his life, become a practitioner of meditation and yoga, and most specifically Tai Chi, to help center himself and regain his balance. For about 12 years ago, Rosham was injured in a car accident, leaving him blind. And since then, he has come to seek some level of peace and balance in his life, and found that through Tai Chi, and has since traveled around various parts of the world learning different techniques from different masters of not just Tai Chi, but like Kabaddi and Aikido, throws and moves to redirect energy away. He's very kind of quiet, very zen obviously, been going along with Tai Chi. And he has a pet raven. Who I haven't named yet. I forgot. Chat, want to throw out a name for my raven? If anyone's there, first person to come up with a decent... What? Evermost. There we go. Evermost the raven. Bam.
Nice.
Edgar. All right. Sorry, Chad. I'm vetoing you for choice over chat. Edgar the raven. Thank you, Mirsir TV. I hope I said that right.
I like it. Very appropriate.
Mercer.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandon. Rob, how about you?
All right. My name is Rob. I normally run the Witchlight game that we have on Tuesday nights for those that maybe are new here today. Who knows? But I'm playing today, and I am playing Hieronymus Mosh, who is a punk who grew up on the streets just fighting and dancing and dance fighting and fighting on the dance floor and occasionally playing in bands and being an entertainer. He has learned everything from just being in the middle of a bunch of flying fists and elbows and knees and heads. He knows how to fight in groups and against groups, and is just a tough bastard. He dresses a little bit fine. He wears like sort of like slacks and a button-up shirt with suspenders to hold his pants up, and he's got this mohawk that he tries to keep in good condition, despite many headbutts having flattened it on occasion. He just sort of lives for the fight and for entertainment, and he finds fighting to be entertaining. So that's where he is.
All right. Awesome. Chad, how about you?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Chad Yarish, and today I will be playing Chet Vesper. Chet Vesper was the grandchild of one of the famous, or rather infamous, CIA spies, Carl Vesper. He worked deep with El Chapo, doing a lot of drug running back in the 70s. And so there's Carl Vesper, and then he had his son, Clint Vesper, who was in the FBI and more straight-laced, and he didn't want his son going into all of that sort of underworld stuff and getting involved in all kinds of whatever. But Carl taught Chet some of the things he knew, and they grew up on cocaine money. So he went to all the best schools, and he was taught all the things anybody ever wanted to know. He was in the military for a while. Wasn't smart enough to really stick it out, but still got pretty good at fighting. So when he went back into the real world, he's like, oh, I want to go to Hollywood and I want to be one of those stunt guys. And so that's what he's trying to do with his life. But he's making money by beating the crap out of people on the side. So, yeah.
Awesome. I love the voice.
I had to dial it back because I was going to go like full Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but that seemed a little bit too grating. Anyway, here we are.
I love where it landed, so that's great.
I'm going to encourage you to dial it back up a little bit as we go forward. I liked it. I was a fan.
Okay, well, you know what? We'll take an audience rating, and like depending on the thing, I can dial it up or I can dial it down.
Fair. So, for a lot of us, this is a whole new system. For me, I've played a lot of Street Fighter, and I am bringing, by the way, some house rules, because as much as I love this system, as it's published in the book, it has the gems of genius, but it is a tiny bit of a mess. There are oversights. There are things that aren't explained, like, for instance, how the blind fighting stat actually works. That's actually explained in the other White Wolf books. That's not explained in Street Fighter. They just forgot to include it. So there's little things like that, right?
I'm starting to see why maybe this one fell shy of the rest of their game catalog.
There's a reason maybe it didn't hit the big leagues like the others. But you know, the sad thing or the amazing thing is that it has this gem of genius. And I hope that you guys will share my enthusiasm once you experience the combat system. I think it's the most fun I've had in any role-playing game combat system. Because, you know, in most games, if you want to attack someone, your option is attack. Maybe if you're high level, you get 2 attacks or an action surge, and then you get to make 2 or 4 attacks. You know, maybe you have sharpshooting, you get to do a little different. But in this, you have this huge list of special maneuvers. And all of them have an effect on how far you can move, on how hard you hit, how fast you hit. Anyway, you'll see it all. But I want to just give a little preview for both the audience and ourselves that the first couple fights are probably going to be pretty slow as we're doing some tutorials. So we'll get into that shortly. But first, I want to take some time to think about... You guys have given little previews of your characters, but I want to dive a little bit deeper. Take a moment to dive a little bit deeper with each of you, and then also discuss how you have come together as a team. And I've got some things to add, and I'm going to see what you can add as well. This might be a little bit similar to a session 0. We covered a lot of the more boring stuff previously, but this is like, I think the character development side of it and team development side is something that's fun to do, you know, to show everyone. So, yeah, this is a little bit something between a session 0 and preludes, if you've ever done character preludes before.
Cool.
So let's start with you, Brandon, since you just happened to volunteer and you're leftmost in the order, and we all know that's the way of things. He's out. He's out, guys.
Form. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you some questions about Bo.
Okay.
How was Bo... What was the first time that Bo ever saw Street Fighters? And for a little insight into the world on this, in this world, martial arts are huge. Everyone loves martial arts. They are the, you know, football, soccer, esports all combined. Like, they are the pinnacle sport of the world. There's all these tournaments and official leagues, but the real fighters, the true fighters, know that the rules and restrictions in the official leagues and the official tournaments hold them back. So the real fights are technically illegal because they can become dangerous, right? They're no holds barred. The only thing that's not allowed is, like, bringing any weapon is frowned upon. You're not necessarily going to get kicked out. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. But you will lose honor. You will lose standing in the eyes of the people and of your fellow warriors.
So it's a good idea that I took knife fighting off of my character sheet. Got it.
I mean, you never know when you might get in a fight outside of the ring.
It also makes sense that, since you're describing that, it makes sense why Vega is considered a villain, because he has the claws on his hands that he uses. Mm-hmm. And I think he's one of the only characters that has, like, visible weapons on his person.
So the times people do bring weapons, they are on that order. A knife, claws, a staff, things like that. Something like guns, you are never going to see in an honorable street fight. But other than that, it's no holds barred. These are dangerous fights. People get hurt. They use every single thing they have at their disposal to fight to their utmost ability. And it's hugely popular, and it's illegal. So these fights end up happening, but there's a huge underground circuit of illegal underground fighting tournaments that happen on the streets, at the pier, in some millionaire's mansion, on a yacht, like wherever they can find a spot. These things happen, the word spreads, fighters show up, and they're televised, they're put out there, either for people to show up to witness or for people to watch remotely. Not all of them are projected remotely, but many are. Anyway, so that's the world. You have this sort of the above ground official martial arts tournaments, but that's not where the real action happens. And everybody knows the most heated, most primal, most powerful displays happen in these illegal street fighting tournaments. So, with that bit of setting exposition aside, Bo, what was the first time you ever witnessed fighting?
Man, I want to go like super dark and say like on the streets I was fighting as a kid, but no, I don't think that's the case. I think I was a good kid, like middle class-ish family, and my dad and older brother were super into fighting, and I liked it from an entertainment standpoint, but never thought that I would ever do it. I just kind of enjoyed it, like watching the fights. Like I think the first memory I have would be my dad took me to like one of the local like legal fights. And I was like, oh, this is cool. So from an entertainment standpoint, yay. But from an actual standpoint of me fighting, probably not. Sorry, that was like a weird convoluted answer.
No, that makes sense. So did you do any martial arts training before the accident that blinded you?
I would say, if anything, like maybe sparring with my brother. Since Brandon took Taekwondo, I'll say that Bo did as well for a few years, and that's about it. Right. And he more got into the martial art from a sense, from a place of like restoring like balance and like synergy in his life. And through that, learned defensive martial arts to protect himself on his travels.
Okay. Which sort of
where I
leads
was going
into my next question, which is, how did the accident that blinded you change your perspective on life, on the world, on martial arts, on everything?
I would say that I had maybe kind of like a dim outlook on things. Just being like, well, I'm never going to be a fighter, so I'm just going to do some kind of like retail job or like labor job, something like nothing fancy. And after being injured in the car accident and losing my sight, like while healing and adjusting to the fact that I've completely lost my vision, I wanted to become more in tune with my body. And believe that I could achieve the things that I wanted to achieve, even though I was blind and recovering from an injury.
So in a way, it almost sounds like it opened doors for you. You had low expectations until suddenly you had to face this monumental challenge. And It almost made you feel like, oh, I can do more.
Yeah.
That's very
like there's that saying, like, when life shuts a door, you open that thing back up, because that's how doors work. Like,
I've actually never heard that one before.
I saw it on like some meme post or something like that. Thanks, Imager.
Yeah. Internet wisdom.
Yeah.
Sometimes the obvious is I'm not putting it down at all. It makes perfect sense wherever it came from.
Yeah, and like obviously sometimes like a door gets slammed, it gets locked, so you can't go back through. But like, take a sledgehammer to the walls of your mind and open a new door. Exactly. Like, build your own door. Make a window. I don't know. Shit.
Last question for you. Mm-hmm. How did you turn from applying martial arts as a way to restore your health and recover and protect yourself? How did you make the turn from using it for personal reasons to fighting on the streets in illegal tournaments?
I would say that because of my desire to balance and like heal and return things back to center, the friends I have found through my travels, I have had to train myself to defend them as well. And just kind of finding myself in my wanderings in illegal fights, whether I wanted them to be whether I wanted to be in them or not, a blind guy gets mugged on the street, so I'm suddenly attacked. I have no choice but to defend myself and fight these people illegally.
Sure.
And I've probably wandered through to a point where I'm like, well, the only way I might stop these illegal fights is to fight my way through them to get to the person who's setting the fight up in the first place and then take them down. So kind of like close down the illegal fight rings one by one would be like the penultimate pie in the sky dream, which is probably unattainable. But that was where I was coming from, as being, like trying to refine balance and heal, and then fighting to progress that forward, in a sense.
Okay. All right.
Like, it's kind of contradictory. Like, I don't know if anybody in chat or you guys played City of Heroes, but they had an Rob, yes. They had an archery class that you were like the green arrow, essentially, and they had a healing arrow.
I don't remember that one. I think maybe that came in later.
Taking healing damage.
Exactly. That's what was the joke between my friends. You get plugged with an arrow and you're like, I guess it's better. Thanks. Yeah.
So that's what you're trying to be, the healing arrow.
Yeah.
I like it.
Bo the healing arrow.
Hold on. Rochambeau the healing arrow.
Oh my god. All right.
Rock Bo.
How about you, Chet? Let's dive into your backstory a little bit here.
Bring it on, bruh.
Oh god. I love and hate you.
I'm getting the sense that you did not have a deeply introspective childhood. Tell me about your home life when you were a kid.
Oh, I mean, it was cool. Like, my dad was always at work, and my mom was, she was cool. She was a smart lady. But I was mostly raised by the nanny, and I went off to boarding schools. I didn't really have a close connection with my parents, because they were always just sending me off someplace so they didn't have to deal with me. But my grandfather, he was the one who actually took an interest in me. And he came out, we had a pretty close relationship, writing and texting and talking all the time. Even though it was sort of distant. But I grew up more with, my nannies than my actual parents.
And how that explains some things. How did you see your first fight?
Oh, yeah. So my grandpa took me to one of these fights when I was 9. And he knew some people, so we got some cush seats, and I got this big box of popcorn and a huge soda, which was awesome. And I was more fixated on that than the other thing. But then, they did this thing. It was in a warehouse underground. It was, I don't know, it was dark, whatever. And you just saw these people start flying across the room and flipping out and doing all kinds of weird stuff. I didn't even finish my popcorn. That's how cool it was. And there's one point where I was just watching this whole thing, and my grandpa, pats me on the shoulder, and I was like, what? And he's like, you're going to have to do this someday. I was like, cool.
And a hero was born. What was your first time in the ring? The first time that it really hurt and you realized you were really in it?
Yeah, so I was on this one special mission with the U.S. military. We were down in Nicaragua. And I found out about one of these things because, my grandpa, he has contacts, and somebody contacted me, and I thought I was all badass and everything, so I could just go in there and wipe the floor with them. And so I put my name in the hat, and they called my name, and I got in there, and I thought I was hot shit, but I was a cold turd, and I basically laminated that floor with my blood, spit, and piss.
What did you learn from that experience?
I learned that, there's always people out there that are better than you. And it's not about being the best, but you always got to keep learning, right? Because if you stop learning, you start dying. and I'm not ready to die.
Deep words from Chat Vesper. I'm impressed. Thank you, Chad. All right, let's move on to Rob. Let's start with sort of the same question. What was the first time that you saw a real fight?
I have a feeling that Mosh grew up just with fights everywhere. Have you seen those videos of those kids that do like backyard wrestling and they're like jumping off their roof and like, you know, throwing trash cans at each other and stuff? That's where Mosh grew up. So like he was like a kid, you know, his older brother. I'm assuming that the first fight he saw was probably his older brother maybe fighting like his dad in the backyard and just getting like tossed around and bloodied with their friends and other people, and like having no idea that like the pain here was like something normal people didn't like probably experience like on a day-to-day basis. So like he probably doesn't remember the first fight. He just grew up and it was a thing that was there.
Yeah, it was all over.
That's rough.
Yeah. But he loved it. Like he was that kid that would be in the backyard. That he was like, you know, probably at the age of 5 was like his first fight where he just charged in to like get into it and probably just got knocked out cold by an elbow or something like that, you know, accidentally. But then was like back the next day with like a black guy, and like he's the kid that like everybody else is like, whoa, you know, they're going to grab him to keep him like, you know, from like he's just like swinging at somebody like, you know, wild windmill arms, trying to like prove himself, you know, in the in the school of hard knocks.
So at what point did you realize that you had the potential to be something more, that you could move into a league that most people can never reach?
It's a good question. I think he always thought that he was. I don't think there was ever like a time when he thought he wasn't like the shit. Like he was, and I've met people like this in real life who just grew up like fearless of like everybody, and like they're constant like bruised. They got like broken arms and legs. It never slows them down, and I think he always felt like he was destined for greatness. Like he saw his father maybe fighting like in boxing matches and stuff, because that's how he's trained. He's trained as a boxer, but he's learned like other ways of, you know, surviving in a fight where boxing doesn't cut it. So he just like win by whatever means, especially, you know, when his background is street fighting on like the street, not like, I don't think he ever saw like a professional fight. Right. Until maybe he was like a teenager. And then he was like, what's this stuff? You know, these guys are all whips. All pulling the punches.
So, all right, here's a different kind of question. You have risen to the top in several areas. You have succeeded as a performer, as a punk rock star. You've succeeded in the fighting ring. You've been moving up through the ranks. What have you not succeeded at? What is something that you have not been able to accomplish?
He is about the opposite of Bo. He has not succeeded on balance in his life by any means. He's probably constantly drunk, screwing up relationships, fighting with friends, and maybe even family. He's just like a social wreck, and probably has a few really close like friends that are constantly sort of like digging him out of the ditches he's, you know, thrown himself into. Okay. He's headed towards trouble, I think is his problem. He doesn't know his limits. He doesn't think he has any.
Yeah. Thank you. So, FYI, since I'm running the game, I'm not reading the chat, so I'm going to count on the three of you to let me know if they say anything that I should know, if there's tech issues.
Oh yeah, don't look at chat right now. It's bad.
No, it's horrible. They hate you.
They all hate you so much.
No. They love you. They love you. They're pouring
confidence.
I'm kidding. I kid.
This is the wrong time for.
Hello, everyone in chat. I'm not trying to speak for you. I love you all. Thank you for coming to the stream. Ignore me.
Just wanted to throw that out there.
Hey, everybody in chat, can we get a shout out for our GM, Aston? Thank you, Ashton.
Woo!
So, let's talk about where you guys are now. you guys have come together in a certain neighborhood. We're going to call this neighborhood Southtown. You are not the only fighters in Southtown, but you are some of the more prominent ones. And it has started to feel a little like your neighborhood. You're watching out for these people, you know? A troublesome gang moves in, and you guys are the ones who go kick their asses and chase them out of Southtown. One of the things that have brought you all together here is a sensei, a teacher, who you have all joined in with. His name is Master Dave, and he's a little bit older guy, probably in his 50s. Tough, muscular, just like hardcore. Seems to have an answer to everything. He's there for you. He's taken each of you in under his wing, and yes.
I feel like this is a little bit of a kung fu hustle situation. Like we're all coming from very different places, but ending up in one place for a specific reason.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say something about Master Dave.
Lady, like Master Dave is the old smoking lady with the chancala.
I don't know. I was envisioning Master Dave as wearing parachute pants with the design of the American flag on them, but I don't know.
He's a little closer to that. Like he's like one half American vet conspiracy theorist and one half like Mr. Miyagi. You know, like, he just blends those a little bit.
He's like Chuck Norris?
Yeah. He's a little like Chuck Norris.
He's a little like Chuck Norris, but the real thing.
And he has earned, for each of you, he has earned your trust and your respect in some way. We're not going to take the time to dive into that right now because I want to keep things moving, but in your own head, think about what he has done to earn your admiration. Why do you stick around with him? And in sticking around with him, you guys have gotten to know each other as well. At first, maybe it was a little bit rocky, but you guys have recently had some sort of victory that caused you all to bond as a team, as like Master Dave's team, like his boys. This one I am going to feel to you guys. What is the victory you guys have recently enjoyed that really brought you together and put you on the map and made a name for yourselves in the local community?
With this motley crew of characters, it's got to be something pretty weird.
Yeah, I think all of us as individual characters would not get along.
So I feel like it might stem from Mosh, where like there was a nightclub that he was used to going to, and he knew that they were involved in some drug running that was sort of permeating through the neighborhood.
Yeah, I was there to get drugs.
And then like you were there to get drugs, but like I heard about it or Bo heard about it because he listens to fucking everything. And he came to me and he was like, we need to do something about this. And I'm like, okay. And so we went in and broke up the drug run operation.
Awesome.
And sort of like that calmed down. I mean, it's a slow effect because people are now like they aren't getting their drugs. They're starting to feel that what's the thing that people have when they're off drugs? Withdrawals. Thank you. Yeah.
I love how you've just added like a socioeconomic like aspect to this game like really quickly.
Sorry, I was going to add to that real quick too. I think that Mosh normally probably wouldn't care about this stuff too much, but since you brought the idea of like this drug runners like guy running out of a club or something like that, and Mosh is not from like the U.S. I'm assuming that this is sort of in the U.S. So I'm assuming he's like on tour with his band, like the Punks or whatnot, and they like come through this place and they're performing, and like he's drugs are going around this place. He's like, cool, it's all right, and then like maybe these drugs are bad, and like one of his bandmates like ODs that night, and that's the night that like Chet shows up with whoever, and then there's this fight breaks out, and Mosh decides to take a side against these guys who are hurting people rather than like helping the party. They're harming it.
So like if you guys are a touring band, that means you were bringing the drugs into the community via this one whatever local kingpin. And this was the night there was a big meetup, and we went and we kicked his ass and drove him out of town.
Cool.
That sounds good. Yeah.
So that
Went from Street Fighter to After School Special, and I love it.
wow, Street Fighter kind of is an after-school special half the time. So that was about 3 months ago now. There was a couple weeks of cleanup, but it's been... You guys pretty thoroughly wrapped it up about 2 months ago. There's been some time for the reputation to spread, for the effects to spread throughout the community, and you guys are... hardly recognized. It's not like you're recognized by everyone walking down the street, but there are people who know what you've done. Your credibility has definitely gone up a notch since then. You've got a bit of a reputation now. So it's with some unease that I think it's probably Mosh who starts hearing the rumors first. That there's some new gang coming into town. You don't know what the deal is, but some of your contacts have suddenly dried up. And, like, these are guys who always talk. They don't care. They don't care about anything. As long as they get, their next fix, they'll tell you whatever. They don't think past 2 days. But suddenly they're not talking. Some of them drop off the map completely. You can't even find them. And it's just enough to get you feeling like something's in the wind. Something's changing. Some new force is here in Southtown, and you don't like it.
Yeah, so I definitely bring this to Master Dave, probably with Chet and Bo there as well. Let them know something's wrong with the scene here. Things are changing. Getting bad vibes.
So
some
Master
of my friends
Dave is
they're gone missing.
When you bring this to Master Dave, he's sitting in his rolling lounge chair in the garage with his feet up on his computer desk and his patriotic flag on his camo pants. He stands
Quick question, is this set in like the 90s?
I feel like it is. Like, we're not at streaming services yet.
Like this is one of those giant monitors with like
giant monitors.
CRT gently hums in the background.
Yes.
We're all wearing parachute pants and like pink tank tops with mullets.
That's Chet. That's not Mosh. Mosh is total like 80s, 70s punk. It's all leather and stuff like that.
And I'm probably wearing simplified traditional robes.
Oh no, I'm like pop collar, like pink polo shirt.
Miami Vice.
Yeah, with like
3 visors on and 2 pairs of sunglasses.
Oh my god. So when you bring this to Master Dave, he initially brushes it off. He says, you'll figure it out. What if something's going on, it'll come up. But a couple days later, there's a moment when you catch him standing outside, looking off into the wind. Do you want to talk to him or just leave him there? I mean, this isn't totally out of character for him, but it's much more likely that he'd come up to you, talking about whatever's on his mind. He's not inclined towards introspection, but now he's just standing there, staring off at the sky.
Sorry.
What's on your mind?
He just says, I feel it. I feel a presence I haven't sensed in a long time.
Really?
What sort of presence is that, Obi-Wan? Come on, spit it out.
He shakes his head. It's probably nothing. Don't worry about it. Get back to your training. Give me 100 push-ups. And he walks into the house.
Master, pushing things away does not make them go away.
He
Oh my
grumbles
god,
as
here
he-
you are again with that whatever Mushu bullshit.
He grumbles as he slams the door. But you don't have time to worry about it because there's a new tournament coming up. This is not the big hot shit. The big hot shit is the King of Warriors tournament, which is coming up in about 3 months. and the location has not been announced yet. But that's what everybody's buzzing about. This is just like a little friendly, local, like, practice tournament. Just get together, throw a few punches, have a good time, crack open some beers. It is being hosted by a guy named Big Eddie, who is an ethnically ambiguous individual who is large and friendly and garrulous, and he's a real pillar of the community type. He owns a shop down near the docks, the Southtown docks.
Pillar or a pillock?
And that's where he's been, that's where you guys are invited. It's not even a tournament with a name. It's just like, get together, have some fun, have some fights.
It's an exhibition, man.
What?
What's his name? Big Eddie? Is that what you said his name was?
Big Eddie.
Big Eddie. Oh, yeah. This is like, Mosh grew up on this stuff. You know,
this is what it's all about.
Backyard Rumble. Every day. This is number 55.
Oh, yeah. No, I've watched enough movies to know that this is how this totally works. Yeah.
I think Mosh would be excited to take Chet to this place and, like, see what sort of fights they have going on here.
I feel like Mosh doesn't respect Chet yet. Like, he's seen, but I think Mosh is like, I will curb stomp this idiot.
I think there's probably a bit of that. I don't know if I think he might think that Chet's an idiot, but I think he's probably trained with him enough to know that Chet probably has some moves, which probably just motivates Mosh to train even harder. It's like, there's no way this guy's going to get better than me.
Yeah, but Mosh is all street and Chet's all money, and you're like,
oh, there's that too. Yeah.
But you guys have fought together. You've had a chance to see what each other can do.
Yeah. I think it's a rivalry rather than anything else.
Sure.
Yeah. So Master Dave comes out of the house, slamming the door again, a little bag over his back. He says, "Come on, time for the dockside rumble." What, you didn't think I was coming?
Oh, no, I can't wait to watch you fight. Yeah, come on, let's go.
He laughs. Nah, this one's not for me. This one's for you.
Oh, it's too bad. I thought you was going to go up against Big Eddie.
Yeah, 1 second.
I need a foe who can challenge me.
Gonna get some cream for that bird.
He says, "Listen, when you have students of your own, always remember this. You teach someone, you watch them fight. You can't know how to teach them next if you don't watch their fights. So, I'm gonna have my eyes on you, all three of you. We're gonna get better after this. Come on, let's go."
Thank you, Sifu.
He just grumbles a little bit. You guys hop
Let's
in the
go,
door,
Sensei.
What was that?
Let's go, Sensei.
Yes.
Wait, is he sensei or Sifu?
Or senpai.
They are from a Chinese tradition, so Sifu would be more accurate, but he just goes by Master Dave.
Master Dave.
You guys come rolling up at this dockside rumble, for lack of a better name, and you see the usual crowd gathered. There's a bunch of folks and also some new faces. Clearly, this is gaining some popularity in your neighborhood. As you roll up, you see Big Eddie standing by a parked car that's sort of illegally parked half on the wharf. He's standing with a couple other guys. Master Dave goes right up to talk to Big Eddie. But as you approach, go ahead and put yourselves on the map. I would say put yourselves on the map right about here to start with.
You haven't given us the link to the...
Oh, I put it in the chat.
I've got it here. 1 second.
Oh, cool. It does load as a PNG. Sweet.
Owlbear Rodeo.
Boom. Nice. I love Owlbear Rodeo. Thank you, folks. Make Owlbear Rodeo. It's a wonderful digital tabletop. Check it out.
Shout out to Owlbear Rodeo, who provides this service free. I absolutely love it. And also shout out to 2 Minute Tabletop, from whom we got all of the maps you will be seeing today and all of these little tokens. So you're going to...
I love that it has our character names from the other game.
Yep, the other game that we've been playing.
Right, now I'm trying to find... Where did I put my little token?
While you guys are loading your characters in, I am going to go ahead and grab some more water. If you have to step aside to grab water or anything, this is a reasonable time to do it. But not a proper break. Just step aside and come right back if you need to. I will be right back.
Well, I mean, let's take a 5.
Sure.
5, everybody?
Sure, take 5. Let's take 5.
Be right back, folks.
I will
Put
put on some music for you nice people.
Yeah.
Here's our... we'll just leave it like that, but I do have... Alright, be right back.
Why am I so much smaller than you guys?
Mine was small too. I had to size it up.
Mine was as well. I had to size mine up too.
How do you do that?
I select it. There's a little tab you kind of pull on the right or the left.
There we go. Okay, cool. Be right back.
How's everybody in chat doing today? Y'all good? How's everybody in chat doing today? Y'all good? Anyone?
Right.
Crickets? Yeah? There we go. Good. I'm glad, Margaret, glad you're doing well. Raw GM, I know you're doing well too, because you're currently right there with me. So glad you're doing well.
Hello. Ready to throw down with some of these street punks.
Oh, yeah, the time has just about come. We're here to...
Oh, it's cold outside, Mercer. Where you at? You don't have to say. Never mind. That's like, if it's personal.
Maybe they're near me, where it's cold outside, too.
Yeah,
Well, it's still winter.
perhaps.
Yeah, winter is different in different places of the country, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as someone who was just living in Pennsylvania. Yeah. Oh, Michigan. All right. Well,
Oh, yeah, that's
thanks
cool.
for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for coming. And let's jump back into it. So, you guys roll up, you jump out of the car, Master Dave goes straight over to chat with Big Eddie, and as you guys are walking over there, you see some waves and shouts from people standing around, and you get approached by a kind of smaller individual who you probably know from the local scene. He's sort of a fighting super fan, but he also gets into fighting himself too. You've seen him at every fight, pretty much. He's the guy who shows up and enrolls in every tournament and loses like first in every tournament. He comes up to you guys and he's like, oh, hey guys, it's so good to see you. Man, I am such a big fan. Have I told you how much I just think you guys are so great? What you did with chasing those drug runners out of town? Man, it's so good to see you all. How you doing today?
Yeah,
Doing good. Doing good, little man.
Again?
Oh, you can just call me Frogman. Everybody else does. My name's Steve, but yeah, I go by Frogman or Froggy if you feel like it.
All right, Froggy. Cool. Good to see you, man. Yeah, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, little frog man. I seen you around. Seen you getting in the fights, throwing yourself in there, putting yourself out there.
I fought with you a couple times, right?
Oh yeah. I think we might have fought once. I'm real excited. I've been working on a new move. I can't wait to bust it out. I'm real sorry if I hit you though. You know, I like you guys. I don't mean nothing by it.
Hey, Froggy. Like, this isn't a place to be sorry. This is a place to test yourself and to grow and to learn. I appreciate your spirit, but you're not going to get anywhere if you're always apologizing.
Yeah, you only got to apologize if you miss.
Oh yeah. Well,
Right. Yeah.
That's what my mother says, but you know, I'm doing my best. I don't know if you guys need anything. I'm here to help. Just anything at all I can do for you. You know, I know most of these fighters. I follow them. If you want to know about any fighter, just let me know. I'll help you out.
All right, cool. Yeah. That's super helpful. Thanks, man.
Right. Good to know the competition here. Who do you see? And Masha's looking around for new people, and he'll ask like if he sees anybody new, if Frogman knows who they are.
Yeah, he sort of points to the other side of the area, and he gives you a little bit of a rundown. The new fighters, well, this one's not new. You see standing with Big Eddie, there's a man named Lupo. He's dark-skinned and looks really athletic. Even from here, you can see him laughing with just a big smile, joking around with Eddie and now Master Dave, who's walked up to go with them as well. When Master Dave shows up, Eddie turns to him. Lupo walks over to the others. You see, he sort of introduces these guys, so I'll go ahead and put their names on. Yvonne, he doesn't know the cowboy type character. There's a white man there with a jaw like an anvil. Frogman says, I don't know about him. He looks new. Behind that, you see Coldfront and Rick Matson. And then over a little further back...
Isn't that a G.I. Joe?
Is it?
No, I don't think so. Just, it sounds like
Totally
like a
could be.
Cobra guy that would be wearing like Arctic gear. Cold front, move ahead.
Well, that's definitely his vibe. So he just gives you a quick, like, their names right now, but basically later, at any time, when you guys are prepping for a fight, if you want to take a minute and go talk to Frogman, you can get some info about the person you're about to fight. Master Dave or Big Eddie can also tell you a little bit, but they tend to want you to figure it out on your own.
Yeah, so as a player, like, never having played this before, I don't know how useful information about other fighters will be.
It actually can be useful.
Knowing their signature moves.
Knowing what they're capable of, what their weaknesses are, potentially.
Okay. Well, let's find out.
Yeah, so you guys move on past Froggy, and as you come up, to where you see Master Dave and Big Eddie talking, you see, I'm just moving you guys over there, you sort of catch the tail end of a conversation, just Big Eddie saying, yeah, I don't know, that one's not one of mine, I haven't seen it around here. And Dave just goes, well, here come the Golden Kids. You ready to throw down? Show them what you can do?
Oh, we're the Golden Boys now? Okay. I'll totally lean into that. Yeah, totally ready to stomp some ass.
Big Eddie sort of claps his hands once, twice, 3 times, holds his arms up, gets everybody's attention. He says, all right, folks, who's ready to do some fighting? And everybody sort of cheers, and all the people are shouting. He says, first up, we have a couple of newcomers. We want to we got a newcomer. Let me introduce Bill Hook. And the cowboy type guy steps up looking really tough. And Big Eddie says, since Bill's new, let's go ahead and throw him up against one of our veterans who's maybe an introductory fight. How about Frogman? Frogman, would you step forward? And he steps forward, and he's like, Frogman immediately objects. Oh, no, wait, man, I that's not what I'm here to fight. I'm here to fight one of these 3. Come on. And Bill Hook says, you're going to make me fight against that pipsqueak? I don't think so. Give me a real fight. Big Eddie
Come on,
shakes.
Froggy. Kick his ass and take his wallet.
Despite your encouragement, Big Eddie just kind of shakes his head and says, all right. How about you 3? Who wants to fight Frogman? Who wants to fight Bill?
I'll take Bill.
All right.
I'll take Frogman.
All right. Bill kind of spits on the ground. He sizes you up, and he says, I got you, big guy. I'm going to make you regret this.
Yeah? Like, you're going to make me regret it? Like the time that you spilled that spaghetti on the floor and then had to clean it up, and then you didn't have any dinner?
He says, how'd you know about that?
Oh, that was a shot in the dark. I don't know.
Big Eddie says, all right, everybody, step back. Let's make some room. Let's do Chet versus Bill.
Chet, before you go out, a Bo is going to walk up to you, and with like perfect precision, will go, I hope you focus this and this together to defeat Bill. And I'll tap your heart and your forehead. I'll just kind of do like a little gesture, and I'll bow my head, and I'll step to the side.
As Bo's stepping back to the side, Mosh kind of bumps him in the arm and says, that shot in the dark, ain't that one of your moves?
Well played, Mosh.
Can we give inspiration in this game?
I don't think it existed.
But my friend, I have yet to master taking a shot during the blackout. So maybe you can.
Oh, that's right. I've done that plenty of times. I'll teach you. You take a bunch of shots and then you black out.
I've seen it. I'm aware. Perhaps you can teach me the ways of Drunken Master.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I totally can. I mastered that stuff when I was 12.
All right, so people start...
I pat you on the shoulder.
People start clearing the space, making room, stepping back to open up sort of an area for you guys to fight. Oh, it's Chet who's coming in. So, by the way, Bill Hook is a reference, a little nod to Blades in the Dark, where one of the gangs are the Bill Hooks.
I was thinking you were just going for straight medieval weaponry reference.
Well, that too. So we can zoom in on this. So this is going to be our first official fight. So we get to sort of walk you through the rules at this point. So Chad, this is you up, right?
Yes.
So the core mechanic, of course, is rolling d10s. You get a number of d10s based on your dice pool. Any d10 that rolls a 6 or higher, typically it's 6 or higher, but the difficulty can change depending on, circumstance, how difficult the thing is. But if it's standard, it'll be a 6 or higher. Each 6 or higher counts as a success. So for instance, if you're rolling damage, you roll 4 dice, you get 2 6s, that's 2 damage. Got it?
Got it.
Good. Position is tracked on a hex grid. There is no attack roll. Your attacks just hit. There's also no dodge roll. However, if you can go first and move out of range, you effectively dodge.
But you can't attack and then move.
No. Once you attack, that's it. Your move is over.
Can you move and attack?
You can move first and then attack. And each special maneuver, whatever action you choose, tells you how far you get to move. And how far you get to move will be your athletics plus whatever the action modifier is.
What if you have a penalty to your move? How does that work?
Then it's just 0. It
So if I have
0.
I have like Chi Kung healing, and speed -1, damage none, move -1. So would that essentially like just root me in place for the rest of that turn?
Yes, because your athletics is only 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So your base move would be 1. If you do Chi Kung healing, that gives you -1 move, so you have a move of 0. You stand still.
Gotcha.
However, I should tell you, I probably a little late to throw this in there, but I will tell you now. I wanted to tweak the stats on some of the focus things. So I made fireballs just a slight bit better. They're just slightly faster, slightly more damaging. I don't think any of you have fireballs, but if it comes up, that would. And regeneration and Chi Kung healing are more powerful. So instead of 1 Chi per health level, it's 1 Chi to heal focus health levels if it's just stun damage, like you get from being hit in normal combat. If you have lethal damage, like from a sword or a knife or something, then it's 1 for 1. But stun damage, which is the normal, 1 to heal and mount equal to your focus. Got it?
So for me, it'd be 1 to 4.
Yes.
Cool.
However, you cannot use Chi Kung healing on yourself. That's regeneration. That's a different ability.
Yep.
So, you fight for 10 rounds or until someone is knocked out. So without further ado, let's jump in and learn by doing it. So Chad, you are facing off against Bill Hook. You are currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hexes away, which is a pretty normal distance to start at. It's a little too far for most normal attacks to hit unless you have something pretty fast. So the first thing you're going to do is pick what maneuver you're going to use this turn. Privately pick what maneuver. Don't tell anyone. Just in your own head, make that decision. Once you've made the decision, you're going to roll speed. The way you roll speed is you pick up 1d10, you roll it, and add the speed of the maneuver, which is calculated. It's your dexterity modified by whatever the action you chose is. So, for instance, a jab punch is +2 speed, right? So, if you have 3 dexterity, for instance, I'm not sure off the top of my head, but if you had 3 dexterity and you do a jab punch, your speed would be 5, because it's the 3 dexterity plus the 2 from the maneuver. You roll a die, add 5.
Okay.
So, go ahead and pick your maneuver.
Got it.
And roll your die now.
Okay.
And announce your speed whenever you're ready.
So it's the speed of the maneuver plus my dexterity plus the number rolled.
Yes.
That will be a 13.
Wow. Okay. You are definitely going first. He got an 8. So, now is the abort phase. You both have the chance to abort. There's only 2 moves you can abort to, jump or block. And you can only abort to jump if you bought the jump technique. But everybody can abort to block. Would you like to abort?
Hell no.
He's not going to abort either, so that's... now we both reveal our cards. He is doing a block. He's starting off with a block.
And I am starting off with cannon drill!
Nice. All right. You have the speed, so you go first. How far does cannon drill take you?
Cannon drill? Well, so that's the next question, I guess.
Right. So the way how distance is calculated is your athletics technique plus the move modifier of the action.
Okay. So my athletics is 5, and
Awesome.
the move is +2, so that's 7.
Okay. You have more than enough movement to get there, so go ahead and move yourself over next to him.
I need to pick the right. so many windows. So many windows. All right, so I'm up on him. Yep.
You're up on him. Now, you've gotten to him. You're within range. You roll damage. So the damage of your maneuver is your strength plus your athletics technique, since this is an athletics maneuver.
Okay.
Plus the modifier for the action.
Which is 12.
That is a lot of damage.
My strength is 5, my athletics is 5, and it's +2 to damage on the maneuver.
That is excellent. However, don't roll all of those yet because he gets soaked. He's blocking.
Okay.
So he has 3 stamina and 2 block technique. Whenever you do a basic maneuver, you gain one of my house rules. I'm going to stop calling out what are house rules, but FYI, this is one. One of my house rules is that any basic maneuver gives you +1 to soak, and that includes block. So blocking is just marginally more effective than it normally would be. So he has 2 block, +1 because it's a basic maneuver. So 3 stamina, he has 6 soak.
All right, so instead of 12, I'm rolling 6.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm trying to get above 6.
6 or higher is a point of damage.
And there's no modifier to these dice. It's just what they are.
It's just what they are.
1.
Okay. Did you get any 10s or any 1s?
I did get a 10. The one that was over 6 was a 10.
So that gives you an extra die. Pick up an extra 1 and roll it because you got a 10.
Alrighty. That's a 7.
Okay. That is 2 damage. If you do more damage than a person's stamina, they will be dizzied. He is not dizzied. You only did 2 damage. So, we move on to the next round. Starting at the top, pick your action privately and roll speed.
And now, so do using special maneuvers take chi or willpower?
Some of them do, and they will alert you which ones do. So, like, cannon drill, does cannon drill require that?
Cost 1 willpower, yes.
Okay. So, mark off on the little boxes, not your permanent willpower, which is the circles, but the little boxes underneath that, mark off 1 point of willpower spent.
Got it. Okay.
Between fights, you gain all of your health levels back, but you don't necessarily gain all of your willpower and chi back. You gain some back.
Okay.
So his speed is 12. He's much faster this round.
Yeah, and mine is going to be... So it's dexterity plus... Sorry, what's the
Dexterity
mechanic?
plus the modifier for your action plus the die.
Eight. 12.
Okay, it's going to be even. And it can be helpful, especially with moves you use a lot, to write down next to the move what the dexterity plus the move modifier is. Just so you have that on hand and you immediately can just add that to the die. Okay, so you guys are going simultaneously. Would you like to abort?
No.
He is not going to abort either. In cases of simultaneous action, I think it's actually not simultaneous. It defaults to who has a higher dexterity. What is your dexterity?
2.
His dexterity is only 1. So against all odds, you go first. What are you doing? Oh, he's doing a jab punch.
I was doing a fierce punch.
Okay.
Or sorry, no. I'm doing a knife hand strike. That's what it is.
Is that what you call it?
Knife hand strike. Yes, that's
All right.
That's what it's called in the book.
Okay, so that's an actual move. That's not just a fierce punch reskinned. That's a thing.
No, that's an actual move. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, that's going to hit. His soak is 4. What's your damage on that? Damage being strength plus technique plus the modifier for the action.
Which is 9 dice.
Minus his 4 soak.
So 5. We did 3, 4, 5.
More D10s.
8, 9, 8, 3, 1.
8, 9, 8, 3, 1. So the 1 cancels out one of the successes.
So then there's 2.
So you do 2 more damage to him. Bam, bam. And he comes in with a quick jab punch. That is going to do 6 damage. What is your soak?
So it's stamina
Just
plus
stamina.
1.
Oh,
my.
It's +1 if you're doing a basic maneuver. One of the, like, jab, strong, fierce punches.
Okay. And he was doing a basic maneuver, which makes it 6. My stamina is 5 plus 1.
Oh, all right. Wait, but knife hand strike isn't a basic maneuver. Isn't that a...
Oh, I thought it was on him.
No, if you are doing a basic maneuver, you get +1 soak. Because they don't take... The idea is it doesn't... You're not committing as much to the attack. You have more in reserve for defense.
Okay, my stamina is 5.
Okay, so he does 1 die of damage. Which is a 7. It's a success. You feel it. End of the round. Start at the top.
Is that
Yeah.
minus 1 health then?
Yeah, so cross off 1 health level. Again, the circles at the top are your permanent health. Don't change those. Check it off in the little tick boxes beneath that. So you can tick off 1 health level.
Okay.
So to the audience, I hope, these early fights are going to be a little slow because we're getting to know the system. This is the first time these guys have played it. Hopefully this is useful to you watching as well, because you guys get to know what's going on behind the scenes, how the system works. But I hope you can start to see that once you get familiar with it, it actually can move quite quickly. So let's go on to the next round. Pick your action and roll your speed.
Okay. Man. Like this knife hand maneuver, which was 4 points, is like basically the same thing as...
Really? That's too bad.
Well, it says, so as it's written, the fighter straightens her hand so that it's rigid and strikes fingers first at an unprotected part of the opponent's body. The effect is a quick, deadly strike which can incapacitate an unsuspecting foe. Use the modifiers below to perform the strike unless an opponent is blocking. Damage is applied against only half his stamina, rounded down.
Oh, so his soak is halved against that knife hand strike. Was that what you did? That was what you did this round, right?
Yes.
And he was not blocking. So
okay.
His stamina should have been 2 soak instead of 4 soak.
So I get 2 extra dice on that.
2 more dice, yeah.
Okay. 1 and a 6.
Cancel each other out.
Okay.
But that's the advantage. So against opponents who have really high stamina, this can be a way of trying to get through that a little bit.
Well, since it worked so well for me before, where it's round 3, right?
We're on to round 3. Pick your action. Don't tell me yet what it is, and roll your speed.
Right. Damn.
Speed again.
11.
Okay, he actually beats you. And it looks like he's doing a sequence of moves that he's like trained to do these moves in this sequence. So he's a little faster than he might otherwise would be. So he gets a 12. Do you want to abort?
Yes.
Okay, what are you aborting to?
So how does aborting work?
Well, you can abort to block, unless you have bought the maneuver jump, in which case you can also abort to jump. Jump only works if you can jump far enough to get out of range of their attack. Block.
So I'm going to abort to block.
Okay. You can just do that. However, you still need to roll your speed, and if you fail to beat his speed of 12, you don't get the block up in time, and you lose the other action.
Okay.
But block is plus 4 speed, plus your dexterity.
So, okay.
So you need to beat a 12.
And I can't.
Well, your dexterity's 2, right?
And, yeah, block is...
plus 4, so you got plus 6. So you need a 6 or higher on the die to beat a 12.
But, so, all right, so my dexterity is 2.
Yeah.
My block is 1. Plus 4 is...
Well, you don't add the block. The block maneuver isn't added to speed. Your technique is added to damage, or in the case of block, it's added to your soak.
Okay, but so how can I get better than a 12 if I only have 7 dice?
Oh, this is speed. You're just rolling 1 die and adding the speed.
Okay. Okay, plus 4 plus the block.
Yeah. So 1 die plus 6. Didn't hit it?
1.
Okay, yeah. You abort to block, but you're too slow. He's trained for this, and he comes in. He's clearly doing like a 1-2 punch, like the jab and then a big swing that comes in faster because he's following on the jab. That is going to be 10 dice of damage. What is your soak? Your stamina?
Stamina is 5.
Okay. So I will still give you the +1 for doing a basic maneuver, even though you aborted and you don't get the block off. So your soak is 6, so he gets 4 dice against you, which is only 1 success. He is going to have a hard time. You're just too tough for him.
I know how to take a hit.